Shalom Yasharala. First and foremost, we want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Rakah, Quadash, double honor to all the apostles and all the bishops of Great Millstone, GMS. Peace and blessings to the elect. All right, and we're Great Millstone, Mississippi. I'm the brother Kazaki Allah, and I'm with the brother
Yehudas.
All right, and we get into the topic of a biblical basic. All right, so this is GMS Back to Biblical Basics. The Edomites have clean leprosy. You know, we could have entitled it "Who was Esau today?" But you know, a brother had a question, and I had told the beloved elder brother Yashuamba I would address it. The brother was asking, is there a breakdown proving that so-called white people have clean leprosy? Because the brother saying, the brother asked the question, he couldn't find any video. So I told the elder Yashuamba that I would do a response to it. So, me and the brother, the brother Yehuda, we attacking it now. We're getting into the topic of this now. And Lord willing, it's going to be edifying. All right. And we're going to start in Genesis. The key is in Genesis. All right. We're going to begin with the serpent, which originally, that's these so-called white people, but back then they had color, because the serpent that approached Eve was a melanated man with the spirit of Esau, okay? But we're going to start in Genesis 3, we're going to go to Genesis 4, and we're going to go to Genesis 25, all right? And Lord willing, it's going to be edifying, and it's, pretty simple to break down. But you have brothers that's new to this, and they may not know how to break down how the so-called white people are the biblical Edomites today. But through the Spirit of the Lord willing, you're going to get this understanding today. All right, so you got it, brother. We're going to start off in Genesis 3 and 1.
All right, this is Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. It said, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
Yeah, more subtle, meaning more cunning, more crafty. All right. And the serpent is the actual man. It's not a talking snake. Okay. These so-called white people, they represent the nation of the serpent, The serpent is referring to a nation of people, which will later on be called the Edomites. All right. But this is an actual man from that people, from the wicked. Okay. And he was more subtle than any beast of the field. The beasts of the field right here are referring to the other nations. Okay. Go ahead, brother.
Which the Lord, Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushua, had made.
Right. So he was more cunning and more crafty. He was a better liar, a better devil than the other nations, Once again, the other nations, they're the beasts of the field. What makes them beasts? They're without the law, statutes, and commandments. And the field represents the world, okay? But yeah, keep reading, brother.
And he said unto the woman, had Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushua said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden.
And it's not an actual tree. Tree represents wisdom and understanding. Okay, information. Digesting information. All right. So this is how, this serpent, which is actual man, approached Eve. To make an effort to get her to transgress the law. And to get Adam to transgress the law. Because back then the laws were handed down orally. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Verse 2. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden.
Right. Once again, fruit and trees represents knowledge, information. Okay. But also trees represent people. In the garden back then, that was the land of Israel. The whole earth was Eden, the whole earth was paradise, but the garden itself represented our land, But we were only to believe in righteousness. We were not to believe in wickedness. We just starting off right here because we're showing you the evolution of the Edomite, basically how they started off. Because, you know, the spirits of people don't change. Nations don't change. You are who you are. Okay. Now, you ask something else?
I got a precept to show that what you're saying is going into parables.
Yeah, come on. Go ahead.
This is Psalm 78, verse 1. It said, "Give ear, O my people, to my law. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and know."
Right, and parables are riddles, dark sayings, mysteries. You know, so, you know, the serpent, the beasts of the field, you know, the fruit of the trees of the garden. This is all hip talk or parables. You know, metaphors. Okay, go ahead, bro.
And our fathers have told us.
Right, going back to the beginning, because really, you always had prophets. You know, you had prophets since the world began, but going back to the beginning. All right. Once again, we're showing you, you know, the development of the Edomites. Okay. We're dealing with the serpent right here in Genesis 3. So go ahead, bro. Back where you left off.
Okay, verse 3. It says, "But all of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden."
Right. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, that forbidden knowledge. Okay. Wicked wisdom, which the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, but you know, that left hand knowledge, you know, witchcraft, idolatry, you know, a false belief system. That's what the serpent wanted to give Eve. Okay, go ahead, bro.
Yahweh Bashim Yahushua had said, "Yeah, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die."
Because it would involve you breaking his laws, statutes, and commandments, and you will become like the other nations. All right. Now keep reading. Read verse 4.
Okay. "And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die."
Right. So he lied to her. So, you know, the serpent was represented so-called white man. Back then they had color though. You see that he's the original liar because he's lying to Eve. But if you could jump to, let's see, get the judgment on the serpent. If you could jump to verse 14.
Okay. All right, verse 14. "And the Lord said, and the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua said unto the serpent, Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle."
Right. Basically, everyone is getting punished right here. Everyone is being judged. You know, the serpent is receiving his judgment first, then the woman, then Adam. Okay. But read that again.
It said, "And the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua said unto the serpent, Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle."
Because you will be the wicked of the earth. You know? It's done with these so-called white people, man. Okay? Above all cattle, above the beasts of the field, above the other nations. Now go ahead, bro.
"And above every beast of the field."
All the other nations on the earth. You know? And them being cursed above all cattle, the Lord will put a mark upon them to separate them from the other nations, so you would know who the wicked are. Okay? Go ahead, bro.
"Upon thy belly shalt thou go."
Meaning they would eventually go into a lower state. You know? That original estate of the wicked. How they were during the dark ages. You know? That's the natural spirit of Edom. It's that low frequency, that low vibration. You know, dirty, you know, low cavemen. All right?
"And dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life."
Which is confusion, lies. All right? That's what they're all about. Now, we're going to go from there to Genesis 4, bro.
Okay.
You started at the top.
All right, Genesis 4. "And Adam knew Eve, his wife."
Right, new meaning carnal knowledge. They had sex. Go ahead, and she got pregnant.
"And she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground.
Right, go ahead.
And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground and offered unto the Lord.
Right, and that's against the law. You don't offer unto the Heavenly Father fruits and vegetables. You know, you offer clean cattle. You know, go ahead, brother.
And Abel, he also brought of the firstling of his flock, and of the fat thereof, and the Lord had respect unto Abel to his offering.
Right, and just a quick footnote. You're seeing the the Jacob and Esau story before Jacob and Esau right here. You know, it started off with Cain and Abel. All right, and there was always a spiritual war. You know, once we go to Genesis 25, we're going to rewind back to Genesis 3. But, you know, we were always at odds with one another. Now, Cain right here, this that same serpent, which is also Esau, okay? Now, we're going to see what's going to happen dealing with Cain and Abel. Go ahead, brother.
But unto Cain and his offering he had not respect.
Yeah, because Abel offered a righteous offering and Cain didn't. All right, go ahead.
And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance was failed. And the Lord said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, thou shalt not be accepted.
Yeah, shalt thou not be accepted? And he knew what to do, but he didn't do it. All right, but go ahead.
And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him.
Right. So basically, the spiritual demon Satan would have a intimate connection with this person, man, with Cain. All right, which later on will become Esau. All right, and that same spirit will be on his descendants, known as the Edomites. Okay, they are the physical counterpart of Satan on the earth. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Verse 8. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him.
Right, so he's the first murderer. All right, so we got in scriptures how dealing with the serpent, which is so-called white man. All right, but back then he had color. You know, you're the first liar as the serpent. You're the first murderer as Cain. All right, and dealing with the word Cain in the Hebrew is kwayan, which means a spear or a dagger. But that represents, you know, Esau, because Esau's blessing is the sword, which is another topic, but showing you that same spirit. Okay? Now go ahead, bro.
And the Lord said unto Cain, Where is Abel, thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?
Right, showing you they're the devil, because you're supposed to protect your brother. And here it is, Cain is the older brother. You're supposed to protect your little brother, but there's the same spirit. Going back to, you know, well, we're going to get it, dealing with Esau and Jacob. It's that same spirit. Go ahead.
And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground.
Now, you know, you read in the scriptures, it tells you the life is in the blood. You know, basically, it's not talking about his literal blood crying from the ground. That means after Cain murdered Abel, Abel's spirit immediately appeared in the spirit world before the throne of the Heavenly Father, and Abel was complaining. Cain just murdered me. He was complaining before the throne. All right, go ahead, brother.
And now art thou cursed from the earth, which have opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand?
Right, he's cursed from the earth. He's refused from the earth. Like the earth. This man, he's not in connection with creation, man. You know, and you look at a so-called white person, the way that they are and the way that they look is completely unnatural, man. So you know it's talking about them. I'll read that again.
All right, verse 10 again. And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother blood cried unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which have opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand.
Cursed above all cattle. You know? Go ahead.
When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond thou shalt be in the earth.
Right. He's a fugitive from justice, and he's a wanderer. You know, they're called the culture vultures. You know, they steal everyone's identity, pretend to be everyone. You know, they'll push out a nation and become like that nation. They'll take on their ideologies, their different, ways of life, their customs. And you'll, after a while, after so many years, decades, to hundreds of years, you may mistakenly think that these are the original people that were there, but nah. They pushed them out and they took on their way of life. That's what Esau does. That's what the Edomites do. So you see this prophecy dealing with Cain is fulfilled through Esau, Edom. And we're going to get on Edom. Showing it's the same man, and these have to be the Edomites today. These self-proclaimed white people. Go ahead.
And Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear.
Right, and see, that's why at the end of the day, Cain is a crybaby, and so is Esau. Once again, that's the same spirit, but it's to the point to where this man is on the run. He's been on the run for a long time, going back to him being a fugitive from justice. So at the end of the day, the Lord is going to deal with this man. I read verse 14.
Verse 14, behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him, shall kill him.
Right, and that's the key point right there. And the Lord, Yahweh, set a mark upon Cain. Right, so he's showing you right here, this is the first clean leper that's recorded about in the Bible. Okay? And eventually they will become a nation of people known as the Edomites. All right, and real quick, I'm going to get this out of this book here. Now, this is by Ronald Siegel, The Black Diaspora, 5 Centuries of the Black Experience Outside Africa. Okay, and just getting to the point. It's on page 64. All right, and we're going to jump down to the bottom here, last paragraph. The whole anguish of slavery would have been intolerable without some means to make sense and solace out of it. And among these was the slave tale. There were tellers of such tales who gave their own twists to the text of Genesis. Charles Gentry, a slave who took to preaching, taught that all the first humans were black. And that's true. Cain, he killed his brother. This is how Jake was talking during slavery. Cain, he killed his brother Abel with a great big club. Which, he murdered him. And Cain means dagger. But scriptures don't say he had a club, but he murdered his brother. And God, he come to Cain and say, Cain, where is thy brother Abel? Cain, he pout the lip and say, I don't know. What ye asking me for? I ain't my brother Abel's keeper. The Lord, he gets in earnest and stomps on the ground and say, Cain, you Cain, where is thy brother Abel? I say, Cain, Where is thy brother? Cain, he turned white as bleach. You see that? Cain, he turned white as bleach, cambric and deface, and the whole race of Cain, they been white ever since. Yeah, so you're dealing with Cain's descendants. But we know when the flood came, Cain's descendants died in the flood. But see, they will come back as the Edomites, from Esau. And it's plain, man. Just found it interesting. They had this in this book here. Okay. But the key point, the brother had read, the Lord set a mark upon Cain. And that mark is leprosy, clean leprosy. He took his melanin away. Now, if you go from there, bro, if you get Bible shot, Genesis 25.
All right. We want to go down to 24, 25, 24.
Yeah, that's the point.
Okay. All right, this is Genesis 25, verse 24. And when her...
Yeah, you got it.
Do you want me to start at 23?
Now, well, I mean, you can. That's fine.
Yeah, because it's breaking it down.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, this is Genesis 25 and 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
The Lord said unto Rebekah, our foremother, Isaac's wife. Go ahead.
2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
Right. 2 nations are in thy womb. Jacob would produce the Israelites. Esau would produce the Edomites. From Jacob, you have Israel. From Esau, you have Edom. Okay? They will be separated. 2 manner of people, 2 different natures, 2 different spirits. Okay? And we're stronger than them. We're better than them, We're the more dominant race. Okay? So-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And it says, and the elder should serve the younger. Well, Esau came out first. So this is a prophecy showing that eventually they're going to serve us. And that's going to happen in the kingdom of heaven. But you got it, bro.
Verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
Right.
And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment.
It didn't say that he was hairy. It didn't say he was hairy. He came out red all over like a hairy garment. He wasn't a hairy baby. But see, he's born with that clean leprosy. Okay, the Lord set a mark upon Cain after he murdered his brother. But here in this instance, you're seeing a baby being born like that. All right. Pale all over, but that blood showing forth through his skin. Okay, go ahead, bro. Read 25 again.
And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment. And they call his name Esau.
Right, now let's deal with that. Let's deal with that because, the brother asked the question, how can we prove that these so-called white people have clean leprosy? Meaning they're white all over, right? It was technically red all over. They're translucent. All right, now this is the water, brother. This is a classic book here. This is the Yehudas Pocket English, Hebrew, and Hebrew English Dictionary. This is a book, brothers acquire, when they come into the truth. Some brothers may not know about it, but a lot of brothers end up getting this book, Now this is on page 239. All right, and they give you, the different meanings of these Hebrew words, okay? Now, you have to waste away. Because see, what does Esau mean? He was red all over, and they call his name Esau. Now, the Hebrew right here is Ishash. Ishash. Okay? Aishash. That means to waste away. But Esau would be Aishash wa. Wa meaning he. Aishash wa, or for short, to say Aishash wa for short, it will be Ashah. Ashah. Esau, wasted away is he, because his pigment was gone. You know? Now, to clarify some things, just make a quick, point. You do have different brothers and sisters that are scattered among the other nations that have that clean leprosy. At the end of the day, you still Israelites because you believe in this truth, and we go by the line of our fathers. A lot of us have that Hebrew Israelite foreigner look. We may not have that natural look, so to speak. And at the end of the day, we all looking different now because we all been scattered. At the end of the day, y'all still Israelites though. But we still have to go into this so you can know who the nation of Edom are, who the biblical Edomites are. Okay? So the brother had read, the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they call his name Esau. So when Isaac and Rebekah saw him come out, they were like, Ashah, wasted away is he. Because his pigment was gone. Like, where is pigment at? Where's color at? Can you read verse 26, bro?
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel.
And it's the scriptures is not giving a physical description of his brother, because his brother came out looking normal. And this is a basic thing to go into, but really it's still deep, because a lot of people still don't understand this, man. Jacob came out looking normal. A brown man, a melanated man. And his nature was normal. Esau, Edom, they're abnormal. They're subhuman. Okay? Now the brother had read once again, going back to 23. Two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. Now remember, we started off in Genesis, the 3rd chapter. Can you go back to that, brother?
Sure.
We started off in Genesis 3. And, dealing with the serpent. Once again, he did what he did pertaining to him lying to Eve, to get Eve to be entrapped in wickedness, and to get Adam engulfed in wickedness. And at the end of the day, they all got judged for their actions, beginning with the serpent, then Eve, then Adam. All right. But going back to what the Lord told the serpent through the prophet. All right. Get Genesis 3, 14 again.
And the Lord said this is Genesis 3 and 14. And the Lord said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle.
And we went into that. He's cursed above all the other nations.
And above every beast of the field.
Above all the other nations. Because they got that mark of leprosy. And they are classified as the wicked. Because no one's doing what they're doing to the earth. Go ahead, brother.
Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the day of thy life. Eventually
they will return to that lower state that was meant for them. And they operate in confusion. Dust represent confusion. All right, verse 15, brother.
Verse 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed.
Now, see, this goes back to that hip talk. Like the brother was reading a song, was that
78?
78, okay. Basically, dealing with how the Lord talks, open his mouth in a parable. Now, this woman right here isn't talking about Eve. This woman is referring to Israel. You read in Revelation 12, that woman with a crown of 12 stars, clothed with the sun, the moon under her feet, and ain't no damn Guadalupe either. It's talking about the nation of Israel. The 12 stars represent the 12 tribes, okay? And you read in, what's that, Jeremiah 6 and 2, the Lord likened the daughter of Zion to a beautiful woman, a comely and delicate woman, but talking about the nation of Israel. So the serpent, which represent the wicked, the Edomites, they will be at odds or enmity with the nation of Israel. Okay? But just, painting that picture for you, showing you that nothing has changed. All right? In the beginning, you had the serpent against the sons of God. You read in Genesis 4, you had Cain and Abel. All right? And then you go to Genesis 25, you have Jacob and Esau. Or Esau and Jacob, you know what I'm saying? But them same spirits coming back to fulfill this same word. There's a constant war. But the Lord put a mark upon this people so you can identify these are the wicked. But once again, to clarify, you do have some of our people that do have that outward appearance too. But we discern by the Spirit. Okay? We go by the Spirit. Okay, now you got something? You holding something?
You want me to finish that out?
I mean, that's really the point.
Okay.
All right, and we're gonna deal with clean leprosy real quick because that's the point of what we're going into, to prove that so-called white people have clean leprosy, Now, we have a book here. It's a study Bible. The Spurgeon Study Bible. Christian Standard Bible. All right. And it's on page 144. And
144.
I know, right? yeah, brother. And we can start at 143. And we're in Leviticus chapter 13. All right. Leviticus chapter 13 is on page 143. Now it says, now keep in mind it's a different translation. Okay? It's a Christian Standard Bible, so it's worded differently than the King James. The Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, when a person has a swelling scab or spot on the skin of his body, and it may be a serious disease on the skin of his body, he is to be brought to the priest Aaron or to one of his sons, the priest. The priest will examine the sore on the skin of his body. If the hair in the sore has turned white and the sore appears to be deeper than the skin of his body, it is in fact a serious skin disease, because leprosy is a skin disease, right? After the priest examines him, he must pronounce him unclean, because it could just be in certain areas of your body. It may not be all over your body, but when it's in certain areas, that makes you unclean. It doesn't fully cover you. All right. But if the spot on the skin of his body is white and does not appear to be deeper than the skin, and the hair in it has not turned white, the priest will quarantine the stricken person for 7 days. So you to be cut off from society until that goes away. The priest will then re-examine him on the 7th day, and 7 is completion. So you be away for a week. If he sees that the sore remains unchanged and has not spread on the skin, the priest will quarantine him for another 7 days. The priest will examine him again on the 7th day. If the sore has faded and has not spread on the skin, the priest is to pronounce him clean. It is a scab. Because it can be healed. It can go away. But let's keep reading. The person is to wash his clothes and will become clean. But if the scab spreads further on his skin, after he has presented himself to the priest for cleansing, he is to present himself again to the priest. The priest will examine him, and if the scab has spread on the skin, then the priest must pronounce him unclean. He has a serious skin disease. When a case of serious skin disease may have developed on a person, he is to be brought to the priest. And, just case in point, in today's time, you have some of our people that have leprosy. Vitiligo, Jake may have certain blotches on the skin. And you have some Jake, they have albinism, if I'm saying that correctly. They're called albino. They're still Israelites, but they have that Edomite look to them. And a lot of them will still even have the woolly hair. But they have that clean leprosy. Just so you can see it's real, okay? Now, we're going to keep reading. When a case of serious When a case of serious skin disease may have developed on a person, he is to be brought to the priest. The priest will examine him. If there be a white swelling on the skin that has turned the hair white, and there is a patch of raw flesh in the swelling, it is a chronic serious disease on the skin of his body, and the priest must pronounce him unclean. He need not quarantine him, for he is unclean. And for some people, it just stays that way, you know. But if the skin disease breaks out all over the skin so that it covers all the skin, this is where you get these self-proclaimed white people, so-called white people today. But if the skin disease breaks out all over the skin so that it covers all the skin, it covers all the skin of the stricken person from his head to his feet, so far as the priest can see, the priest will look, and if the skin disease has covered his entire body, he is to pronounce the stricken person clean, since he has turned totally white. Come on now. He is clean. That's clean leprosy. You know? But it's not a good look. It's not a royal look. You know? It's not a holy look. It's just that it covers all of you. The scripture saying that it's clean, meaning you can't spread it to someone else. You can't contaminate someone else with it. It fully covers you. But it's nothing pure about it. You know, you call yourself white people. There's nothing pure about that look. It's unnatural. You want to know how the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, looks? Look at this brother here. Hey, you know, the Lord is a melanated man. You know, his son, a melanated man. You know, with woolly hair. Okay? You Edomites, you're against nature, man. The way you are, you know, you're a cursed people. Okay? Now, once again, for brothers and sisters that may have that, you know, you still Israelites at the end of the day. And when Yahweh Shai comes back, he's going to change us all anyway. We're going to receive those new bodies, so you're not going to no longer have that infirmity. You know? You're not going to be plagued with that. Because you know that messes with certain brothers, man. They may have that look. You know, Satan got you thinking you were Edomite. You ain't no Edomite. If you was an Edomite, you wouldn't receive the truth. You know? But, you know, we've been plagued with that because the Lord scattered us. You know, dealing with the curses. He said he would scatter us among all the nations. All right? Would not some of us look like them? It only makes sense. But if you were Israelite, you were Israelite. You know, so don't worry about that. But we still have to go over this. Okay? Now, that's really the point. Okay, and that's the point. I mean, you have anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Yep. Well, and for further edification, you know, we're not gonna do it, you know, since we pretty much proved the point already. But for further edification, you can read about our forefather Moses. You know, when the Lord gave Moses the spiritual power, when he was to bring our people out of Egypt, he was to perform certain things, you know, do different miracles before Pharaoh and before Pharaoh's people. You know, everyone knows about Moses plucking his arm out of his bosom and it turning white. You know, it's just different scriptures you can go to prove that white skin is abnormal. It's leprosy, you know, and an oldie but goodie. But, you know, we always go into it through the spirit, dealing with our foremother, Miriam, Moses' older sister. You know, she was out of order speaking to Moses how she spoke to him. And, you know, you read about that account. The Lord was really pissed off at Aaron and Miriam. But, you know, because both of them was bucking up against Moses. But the Lord didn't jack up Aaron. The Lord jacked up Miriam because as a woman, she was completely out of order. In Yahweh Shai, who was in that chariot, he was in that cloud. It ascended up. It departed out the tabernacle and Miriam became leprous. She looked like an Edomite woman. So and she had to be separate from the camp. And the Lord was pissed off with her, man, for speaking how she did, you know, to Moses. And that really happened. All right? But, you know, there's different scriptures you can go to prove that that's leprosy, okay? You know? Hey, you know that scared the shit out of Miriam, man. Even Israel, they was in shock. Moses, he felt bad, you know, seeing his sister look like an Edomite woman, you know. He said she looked like as one dead or one half dead because your flesh consumed. That's how Edomites look. Once again, that's abnormal. You know what I'm saying? But these supposed to be the people of the Most High. They parading themselves around the earth to be us. These ish people, little hat, big nose people, those not the people of the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? But with that, you got any closing statements, brother? Anything?
No other than them Edomites can't get out in the sun because they burn. That skin go to burning and turn raw.
Yeah. And you notice really by them tanning, they want that color back.
Right.
You know? And it's spiritual. You said that, brother. Because they be going to different tanning salons, tanning booths. You know, putting all this damn sunscreen on, looking like an orange. They really want to be us, but you're not us. You know,
and that's why they kidnap and murder our kids.
Yeah,
you know, to make that fear in them, to get that adrenaline and that melanin, because it does something to them.
Yeah,
you know, and try to inject themselves with it.
Yeah, you have Edomites throughout the years. They've been doing it.
Right.
Yeah. They've been kidnapping a lot of so-called black women. You know, kidnapping Judite women, Benjaminite women, Levite women, and taking their organs. You know, and doing different things, you know, to extract the melanin from our peoples to use it for themselves. And actually, it's $1 billion industry too. They make a lot of money off melanin, man. You know? And it was a study too, man. You had this one Jake, I think his name is Dr. Africa, if I'm saying his name correctly. But you know, me and LD Yashwan were talking about it some years back, but basically he had this one PowerPoint presentation, and he went into how so-called blacks in America, so-called Latinos, so-called Native Americans, so-called Hispanics, we got the most melanin on the planet out of all the other nations, man. Now, the other nations, they have it too, but we got the most. You know, so to me, that's spiritual. But to balance it out, every Israelite is not going to look like John Shaft. We all not going to look like Wesley Snipes or LeBron James or whoever. We come in a variety of colors. Just making the point, you know. The Lord separated the nations, man. And you Edomites are not the chosen. The Lord put a mark upon you to separate you from everybody. That's the wicked, you know. So with that, we pray and hope y'all edified, man, as we were. You know, me and the brother just building through the Spirit. Okay, we want to give all praise to our power. Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honor to our elder apostles and elder bishops, great millstone, GMS. Peace and blessed to the elect. Shalom.